Look at this. It's the Province, April 5th, 1981. It says, real estate market cools torrid pace. Thank you. It says right here that the Vancouver real estate market is cooling off a bit for the first time in months. That's good news. That means the housing crisis might be over soon.
David, that's just one day's paper. We're heading into the peak buying season for real estate. It's a temporary lull, okay?
You sure?
David, I've got 2 people living in my living room right now because they can't find an apartment. When they can find a place to live, then the housing crisis is over and not a moment before.
No. She doesn't understand. Look, it says here that the average price of a single-family house dropped 5% last month.
David, could you tell me the price of a single-family house?
Sure. 180,000. $180,954.
I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought it was safe to come out of the water, the headline theater company is pleased to present Buy Vancouver, a look at Vancouver's housing crisis. And you know, it's a good buy. Buy Vancouver. Buy the sea, Vancouver.
I love Vancouver, it's a beautiful city. I am here of my own free choice. I'm gonna stay here as long as I like. I get the feel it's gonna take me by, Vancouver. By the mountains, by the sea, Vancouver. Someone has to pay the real price of money gone funny in paradise. It costs more for shelter every day. Speculators grow fatter while you and I pay goodbye, Vancouver.
I could have sworn I saw a guy in a 3-piece suit and my landlord Arnie looking right in my living room window. Well, I got a right to privacy. It comes with paying the rent. Right in my living room window. He's gonna creeps.
He liked it. He liked it a lot. Oh, God, I'm going to be rich. Rich! All right, Arnold, calm down and think about this.
I wonder what that guy wanted anyway. Oh, I got an awful feeling in the pit of my stomach.
I know. I'd be crazy not to sell the place. What about Janet? She'll find another place to live.
I knew it. As soon as that house next door got sold, I knew it. Oh, no, calm down, Janet. Arnie wouldn't do a thing like that. He was too nice a guy.
Yeah, she's really nice. She's great with her kids. She's never late with her rent. In the 5 years they've been here, hasn't been any problem.
What are we going to do if we have to move? I can't move in the middle of a housing crisis.
What are you trying to do? Talk yourself out of this. Be a nice guy and finish last. This is a chance to finally make it onto the inside track and make some real money.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Free Enterprise TV's weekly game show, The Inside Track. I'm your host, Chuck Jim Bob. In just a few moments, we'll be meeting tonight's players. But first, let's hear what tonight's category is, Jay.
Tonight's category is real estate. That's real estate.
Real estate. Thank you, Jay. And what better players for the real estate game than a landlord and a tenant? Yes, folks, the charming people you're about to meet have been landlord and tenant for 5 years now. Come on, folks, now we welcome Janet McKenzie and Arnie Skinner. Thank you. Well, Jan, it's ladies first here at Free Enterprise, so why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Oh, okay, Chuck. I'm a dental hygienist. I work in a clinic on Broadway.
Hey!
I have a son, Jimmy. He's 7. Oh, and I almost forgot. I rent an apartment I really like from Arnie.
Well, thank you, Janet McKenzie. And what about you, Arnie Skinner? Why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Well, there isn't much to say, really. But like Janet said, you know, I'm her landlord. I own the house she's in. And, I'm ready to play the game.
Well, that's what we like to hear, Arnie.
Yeah.
So will you two get into your starting gates?
Okay.
I'll just run over the rules of the game. Here on the inside track, we ask our players a series of questions. For each correct answer, the player wins $1,000, but the big prize comes when one of our players figures out why his answers are right. When a player thinks he knows why, he stops the game and says, "Hey, I'm on the inside track." By the way, our guest expert this evening is the lovely and charming Marlene Block. Hi, Marlene. Isn't she beautiful? Well, if everybody's ready to play the game, let's find out what Janet and Arnie are playing for. Hey, Jay, what's tonight's big prize?
It's Janet's lovely apartment at 2049 West 8th Avenue. Janet, if you win tonight's big prize, you can stay as long as you like with a low fixed rent and a hassle-free landlord.
Hey!
Arnie, if you win tonight's big prize, you're free to redevelop that property with absolutely no moral scruples.
That's a big option, Arnie. Good luck to both of you. Let's play the game. Question number one. Thanks, Marley. Janet McKenzie, if you woke up one morning and found yourself the owner of a house, what would you do? Think carefully now. You got 6 seconds.
Oh, well, that's easy. I'd move into it with my son, Jimmy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Janet. That answer's off the track. The question goes to Arnie. Arnie Skinner, you do own a house, so the question to you is, what would you like to do with it? Think carefully. 6 seconds.
Okay, I'd like to sell that house for as much money as I could get, take the money, and buy another house.
A correct answer and $1,000 to Arnie Skinner. Congratulations, Arnie.
Thank you.
Now, Janet, since Arnie's taken the lead, you're allowed a clue before you answer the next question. Let's hear that clue, Jay.
Janet, the inside track has to do with a fundamental moral principle in our society.
Moral principle, eh? Sounds tricky. Question number 2. Thanks, Marlene. Janet McKenzie, once again you own a house. This time you decide to rent it out instead of living in it yourselves. The question is, who would be the ideal tenant? Think carefully. 6 seconds.
Just a second.
Time's running out, Jan.
The ideal tenant must be someone who's reliable, maybe a non-smoker, someone who can pay the rent on time.
Oh, I'm sorry, off the track again. Jan, over to you, Arnie. Arnie decided not to live in the job, to sell the house, but to rent it out to someone else. Who would be the ideal tenant? Think carefully, Arnie.
Ideal tenant. Ideal tenant would be a white male millionaire who enjoys world cruises and is never home.
A correct answer and another $1,000 to Arnie Skinner! He's running quite a race, ladies and gentlemen, and he just may be on the inside track. What do you think? Jan McKenzie? Jan, you really haven't left the starting gate yet, but don't worry, little lady. You got one last chance. The third and final question, number 3. Here we go. Thanks, Marlene. Janet McKenzie, you have just come into a very large sum of money. What are you gonna do with it? Think carefully and remember that clue.
The basic moral principle, right? Well, I'd give half the money to charity, and I keep the rest for my son Jimmy's education.
Oh, I'm sorry, Janet. Over to you, Arnie. Arnie Skinner, you have just come into a very large sum of money. What are you gonna do with it? Trust your instincts, Arnie.
Okay, I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna buy a house. I'm gonna hold on to that house for, say, 4 months. Watch the price go up, sell it, and make a $20,000 profit.
And another $1,000 to Arnie Skinner!
Wait a minute, what's moral about
Hey,
that?
wait a minute, I got it, I'm on the inside track.
All right, Arnie Skinner. You've accumulated a $3,000 purse. But can you tell us why, Arnie? For the big prize now, that house on 8th Avenue, what is the inside track?
Making money.
And Arnie Skinner takes the big prize! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, making money is the inside track, the fundamental moral principle of the real estate game. Buying, selling, speculating, the agony of investing in a madcap market, the ecstasy of watching it pay off every time.
I don't believe it.
Well, Arnie, you're a pretty happy guy. I can
What
see
can
that.
I say?
The option to develop Janet's apartment is yours, Arnie. What are you gonna do with it?
This Chuck Jim Bob. Janet, I'm giving you your eviction notice.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna tear down that house and build expensive condominiums.
You're on the inside tracking off to the races, Ernie.
Arnie, you don't have to do that, you jerk.
Well, Jen, I'm afraid there always has to be a loser, eh? And this time it's you.
What are you talking about? You're the one who tricked me with that basic moral principle below.
Well, Jan, those are the rules.
Arnie, you can't do this
Ah,
to
look,
me.
Janet, like he said, those are the rules.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, folks. See you all next week. Until then, keep smiling, keep winning, and keep on the inside track. I love you all individually.
Why can a guy like Arnie Skinner make $20,000 in 4 months buying and selling one house? Well, one of the reasons was pointed out around election time last fall by Mayor Harcourt. He said that between 30 and 50% of all the housing stock in this city is owned by foreign investors. Now, what that means is that people from other countries with strong dollars are coming here and investing in housing the same way people invest in gold. Okay, Mr. Chabot, he's our Minister of Lands, Parks, and Housing. He got on the Jack Webster show while we were researching this play, and he said he thinks the foreign ownership problem is a myth. His figure was 1%. He says he's not worried about it. Peter Heinemann, on the other hand, he's our new Minister of Consumer and Corporate Affairs. He and Chabot, you might know, belong to the same political party. He got on the radio a couple days later, and he said he thinks maybe we do have a foreign ownership problem, and he's going to look into it. So we have Harcourt with 30 to 50%, Chabot with 1%, and Heinemann with, I think maybe we got a problem. Our politicians are moving in 3 different directions at once. At this point, I don't know who to believe. I do know that Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta all thought that foreign ownership was serious enough to legislate against. And I've got a feeling that unless our politicians get their shit together, we could wake up one morning and find that we're tenants in our own province.
Chabot, Chabot, Lands, Parks, and Housing. Chabot, Chabot, can't you hear your phone ring? Chabot, Chabot, we've been looking around for you. Oh no, Mr. Chabot.
Provincial Services, Ministry of Lands, Parks, and Housing. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. One moment, please. Psst. Sir, it's Headlines Theatre calling. They're wondering if you could attend Housing Crisis Week. I see. Yes, I'll tell them, sir. Hello? I'm sorry. The minister will be in the legislature. Ah. Hold, please. Psst. Sir, they're wondering if you could attend on Saturday. Yes, sir, I'll tell them. Hello? I'm sorry, the minister will be in Kelowna on Saturday. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Provincial Services, Ministry of Uh-huh. I see. One moment. Psst. Sir, it's Headhunters Theatre calling again. They're wondering, since it's been announced that the legislature will be on Easter break that week, could you attend any night of your choice? Yes, I'll tell them, sir. I'm sorry, the minister will be out of the province. Thanks, bye-bye.
revolution started with a need for land reform, Jim. Like Russia and China and El Salvador. Let's not forget the squatters' riots in Amsterdam, Jimmy. Now, if you don't want to see that kind of nasty thing start happening here, you better start doing your job. Or make way for somebody else, Jimmy, who will. Shabo, shabo, from lands, parks, and housing. Shabo, shabo, can't you hear your phone ring? Shabo, shabo, oh, we've been looking around for you.
I'm Harry the Advocacy Elf. I'm sort of a psychic urban gorilla. I try to invade the minds of oppressed people to help them see their oppression in a larger perspective. Take our friend Jan, the tenant, for example. Sit. Over coffee. By rubbing my hands together like this, in a corrective imitation of speculative greed, I can appear to her in many disguises.
Hi, Jan.
Oh, hi, Jack.
So Arnie's kicking you out, eh? That little rat is graduating from capitalist lackey into prime cut oppressive pig. You gotta get organized, you know. You gotta join a tenants rights group or
Oh,
something.
come on, Jack. Arnie's just turned nasty, that's all. Nobody's infringing on my rights.
Or I could appear to her as an advocate at one of my many advocacy services. Months later, desperate.
Well, Jan, we're trying to get a letter-writing campaign organized to let those damn deaf politicians know just how many angry people there are.
Look, do you have a two-bedroom suite for me to rent?
Well, as I said before, Jan, we'll do our best, but there are so many inquiries and so few vacancies.
Fine, fine. I just won't hold my breath, right? Ah, shit.
She's going to be a tough nut to crack, that one. But don't worry, I'll get back to her. And in the meantime, don't you lose faith. And remember, housing is a right, not a commodity. Right on, right on.
So what do they think we are, idiots? There's this hole, like so by so, in the wall between where my kitchen and bathroom wall used to be, because the landlord decided to do some renovations. Get this, subdivide the bathroom. The landlord's name is Zen. You might have heard of him or his partner, Aquilini. About a week ago, I got home from work, and there was these two guys tearing out the lathing in the kitchen wall. Well, my daughter, Judy, lives with me. They already got to the plumbing in the bathroom, and the only running water they left us in the bathroom was in the toilet. I told them to lay off. They said, we got a job to do. I was so mad I could have slugged them. But I went downstairs to talk to Larry, the manager. I said, why didn't you at least let me know beforehand? And he just laughed. I had to get out of there. I was getting so hot. I went back upstairs, and I called the Reynolds man up on the phone. He said an investigation is going to take 3 days to a week. Big deal. Me and the kid got to live with a hole in the wall. And a friend of mine dropped over, told me I should call up DIRA, the Downtown East Side Residents Association. So I did. And the next thing you know, there's newspapers there, TV's there, and it's a big deal. It's a big story. Except a week later, it's all cooled down, and I've still got a hole in my wall. I can legally lay charges against the landlord, but I mean, that's no place to bring up a kid. We're moving out of there anyways. DIRA's looking for something for us. They haven't come up with anything yet, but God bless them for trying. And, well, I think they just should be tearing some of these old Aquilini dumps down. That's all.
You want your plumbing fixed? Fix it. it yourself. You say it's cold in there and you'd rather be in hell. You pay your rent and you take my abuse. Give me your money, you can lick my boots. You are my tenant. You are replaceable. You are my tenant. You are disposable.
I hate rent controls. They drive me insane. Someday they'll be lifted, and then you will pay. Leave the market alone to take care of its own. That is the social credit way. If you don't have the cash to talk, then you've got nothing to say. You are my tenant. You are replaceable. You are my tenant. You are disposable.
Hello, I'm phoning about the apartment for rent in the paper. It's gone? Hello? Hello, Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Hi. Could I see the suite for rent advertised in the paper?
Are you alone?
Well, yes.
Married?
I'm separated.
Children?
I have one.
Sorry, no kids.
What do you mean, no kids?
Like I said, we're adult-oriented. We don't want children to make a mess of the place, right on the walls, you name it.
Oh, but my boy...
Sorry, lady, that's the way it is.
Hello. Could I see the suite, please?
Oh, come in, dear.
Thank you.
Now, is it for yourself?
Well, not exactly. It's for myself and a friend.
Well, here it is.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yes, we've just finished renovating. It used to be a big one-bedroom.
Well, how much is it?
$750.
$750?
Well, that includes your parking.
Well, I don't have a car, you see.
Well, I'm sorry, dear. That's the rent.
I was hoping for something a bit cheaper.
Yes. Well, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, I saw your sign. Can I take a look at the place?
Yeah, sure, honey. Hey, you by yourself?
Yes. Well, actually, no, I have a son.
Oh, okay. Any boyfriends?
Pardon me?
Well, I was wondering maybe you were looking for a friend. You know, I like to be a friendly landlord.
No, thank you. I'm not interested.
Stupid broad. Hello?
Hello. Could I see the suite, please?
Of course, you are welcome. We fix a nice and make a 4 rooms from one big.
The ceiling's a bit low, don't you think?
No? Oh, no, for you, yes, but for most people it's okay.
Yeah, well, thanks anyways. Can I take a look at the suite, please?
Yeah, well, it's not really a whole suite. You get a room with a cupboard over there. We all share the bathroom and the kitchen.
Oh, I see. Where's the door?
What door?
The door to the room?
We're not into doors.
Can I take a look at the place, please?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's that smell?
We're trying to kill the bugs.
How much is your two-bedroom?
800.
$800?
Take it or leave it.
I need a small two-bedroom.
You got any kids? No!
Where's your husband?
You babysit.
No kids allowed.
Sorry, too tall.
No visitors after 5.
No smoking. Anything.
Hey, you and a lizard.
You always dress like that?
No living allowed.
Sorry, it's gone.
Sorry, it's gone.
Sorry, gone.
$3.50 a month.
I'll take it. Where am I, anyway?
An hour and a half to work.
An hour and a half back.
Jan.
Arnie. Oh, great.
The Vancouver Sun, February 28, 1981, the headline read, "Housing Hits Poor's Diet." What the article said was that 56% of Vancouver's welfare recipients are going hungry. They're having to cut into their food budgets in order to meet their housing costs. On March 3rd, Paul Cosgrove, the federal minister responsible for housing, flew into Vancouver and met with the press to explain why he is cutting back on funding to social housing. His reason was that the federal government has already responded very well to the situation in Vancouver. CMHC's response was to fund 2,700 units of social housing last year. According to the Greater Vancouver Renters Association, 25,000 new rental units are needed immediately. Mr. Cosgrove has not yet explained this disparity to Vancouver's hungry welfare recipients. We think he should do so over lunch.
Now with the 827 news. First of all, on the local scene, we have this clip from a 12 and can be.
City Council today defeated a motion that would have instituted a one-year moratorium on demolition throughout Vancouver. The moratorium would have given Council the breather it needs to decide what to do about the displacement of people caused by the demolition of Vancouver's lower-income rental units. Alderman Nathan Davinsky summed up the tone of the two-day meeting with the immortal words, "Let us not look down our noses at greed and profit." This is David Diamond across the street from City Hall.
We'll turn now to Colin Thomas on Robson Street.
A handful of squatters here at the rat-infested, often unheated Manhattan apartment buildings have lived through 9 long months in fear of arson, harassment, and robbery, but their perseverance paid off. After a bureaucratic entanglement with Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the Manhattan Co-op has signed a 35-year lease on the top 3 floors of the building. The bottom 2 will be put to commercial use. Both squatters and building owners seem happy. Victoria, BC has a moratorium on demolition. Vancouver's attempt failed. What happens next? Will this lead to more squatting?
And finally, on the international scene, we have Nettie Weil in Amsterdam.
Dutch police battled to evict squatters from a building in downtown Amsterdam today. 1,500 armed police clashed with hundreds of squatters in a battle over a 17th century building slated for demolition. Today's unrest is the result of the severe housing crisis facing this European nation. In Amsterdam alone, 53,000 people are on waiting lists for accommodation, while an additional 10,000 squat in empty buildings waiting for demolition.
When the dozer's moving, when the dozer's moving, bulldozer's moving, dozer's gonna look like a sail. When the dozer's moving, I got a girl I like to kiss on the roof. She said she sleeps in a telephone booth. Late one night on the fire escape, she said she dreamed that time was growing late. She saw the dozers moving. Dozers moving, dozers moving. Dozers moving, look like a sail. And the dozers moving. And the dozers moving. Dozers moving, dozers moving. It's gonna look like a sail when the dozers moving. Yeah.
We would like to take this opportunity to point out those people who made this scene on demolition necessary. They are the aldermen who voted against the moratorium on demolition. And their names are Alderman Davidsky, Alderman Bellamy, Alderman Puhle, Alderman Boyce, Alderman Ford, and Alderman Brown. Thank you all.
I never think, after 26 years, I would leave my husband. I never think of it. Everything is his. The house, the car, the bed, they are his. The pots and pans, they are his. The idiot cannot cook, they're his. Until we sign the papers, I have nothing. 1 year, 2 years, I do not know. I look for a place to live now for 2 months. I sleep in friends' living room. They are nice people, but 2 months is a long time. I look and can't find nothing. Too expensive. I have $266 a month. If I pay rent, there is nothing to eat. I find a place, 1 room. It had no windows. I say I take it. I go to welfare for money to pay deposit, only when I go back next day, poof, rent it to somebody else. This is Canada. They tell people to come here. Many jobs, places to live. People come, there is nothing. Why does the government do that? In Italy, somebody would get mad. I'm afraid for my kids. I want them to have nice life, good house. That is why I come here. If they want us to live 10 to a room like we did in Italy, we should throw bombs like we did in Italy. Me, I'm no hero. I know nothing about politics. But somebody must make a change. In Italy, bombs change things. In Canada, do we have to throw bombs?
You're not living in Italy anymore.
Meanwhile, on an island in the South Pacific Ocean,
Mr. Bennett! Mr. Bennett, sir! Oh, I finally found you, sir. I just missed you in Lake Tahoe. Your office wasn't sure where you were headed after that. Speaking, sir, as Premier of British Columbia, what is your government prepared to do about the housing crisis? Let me rephrase the question. Speaking as an unspecified political leader of an unidentified section of an ill-defined country, how would your government handle the housing crisis? I see. Let me have one more try, sir. As a private tourist, permanently on vacation in a sunny spot, as far away as possible from a certain, not-to-be-named rainy part of the world, how would you handle the essentially non-existent housing problem?
Housing problem.
Yeah.
Is that all you people ever talk about? Why can't the press get its priorities straight? The Constitution. Now there's a high-profile, high-priority
provincial government, I've taken a strong stand on this important issue. As a true statesman, as captain of the ship of state, I will lead the people of British Columbia to a glorious future. My father built dams and highways, but fate has decreed that the Constitution will be my glory. My name will rest on that hallowed parchment, fixing my place in eternity. They'll erect monuments to me, rising to heaven. I'll be immortal, just like my dad. I dreamed last night I was in so great heaven. It looked like Kelowna. I owned a hardware store. I dreamed last night I was in so great heaven. Everybody. No one laughed at me when I opened my mouth. Oh, yeah. I heard a heavenly choir sing sweetly to me. How you doing, Bill? They said I was a hero, a real hero, just like my daddy. When I dreamed last night I was in so great heaven. It looked like Kelowna. I owned a hardware store.
Isn't necessarily a Canadian experience from coast to coast. Take Ottawa, for example. A new listing listed in the Ottawa Citizen is described as the following. New Edinburgh double, 2 3-bedroom units with private drive in a terrific location, $58,500. The Vancouver Sun last week had something different to say. Don't judge a book by its cover. Get inside this golden oldie, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, not regular lot size, $160,000. Now compare these two. Ottawa again, scenic Orleans Woods, attractive 3-bedroom home, fireplace, garage, $60,000, $900. In the Sun, attention investors, immaculate duplex, centrally located, also contains unauthorized accommodation. Absolutely no work needed. Just move your tenants in and watch your investments grow. East 10th and Fraser, it's yours for $169,000.
When it all started, we couldn't have been happier. Of course, real estate has always been good here.
Ruth and I are both in the business now, and we're really raking it in.
Not that we were suffering before.
But there was no comparison with how well agents in Calgary and Edmonton were doing. The market here just wasn't moving.
True, but then all of a sudden it just took off. I don't know if it was the speculative buyers or the overseas buyers that got it started, but off it went.
I tell you, I sold a bungalow 2 years ago for $70,000. Yesterday, I closed a deal on the same place for $150,000.
To tell you the truth, it wasn't even worth $100,000.
We all know it's worth whatever they'll pay for it, dear. Don't forget the killing you made in that condo deal.
Profit. Housing crisis? No way. Profit really makes our day. Well, it's raining money from heaven. It's a real estate jamboree. Five'll get you, 10'll get you, $1 million.
I can retire when I hit 43.
When it's a real need have an expense account. The Lincoln needs a write-off too. Every little day, in every little way. We're not getting older, we're getting richer.
Don't tell my mother I'm in real estate.
Why not?
She still thinks I'm selling heroin to school children. I can't believe this is happening to me. Well, it's raining money from heaven. It's a real estate jamboree.
Every little day, in every little way. We're not getting older, we're getting richer.
It's the guys with the money, the friends and the brains who are gonna be the big winners in the real estate.
Absolutely fantastic.
Profits monopoly. Bye-bye.
Sail, sail.
Kiss, kiss.
You know what this is? It's a photograph of my family. We're all smiling in the picture, as you can see. See, look, there's my mom over here, my dad over there, my sister, and that crazy dog of ours, Bennett. Stupid dog was always running off somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, you know, we're all standing in front of the house I grew up in on Maple Street. Mom and Dad sold the house in '72. Both us kids had left home by then. You know, they got 39 grand. They were laughing. They only paid 6 for it after the war. Anyway, like I said, you know, I got older. I got married, started having kids. Buying a place of my own that they could grow up in has become more and more important. So I've been keeping my eye on the papers, you know, looking for a house. I'll be damned if a couple of weeks ago, the old place on Maple Street doesn't come up for sale. It's pretty incredible. I phoned them up. It seems to me, you know, that a guy who works steady ought to be able to buy a house. I mean, I know this house. I know that in '72 went for 39 grand. I know it's nothing special. I know the wiring's gone. I know the plumbing's shot. I mean, I know every nook and cranny of this place. They want $200,000. I can't afford the down payment. What gets me is, not only can I not afford to buy this house, I can't afford to buy any house in Vancouver. I mean, I make $400 a week. A steady job ought to give you security. At least that's the fairy tale I grew up with.
Hi there, folks. It's Chuck Jim Bob again with the Rentalsman Wrestling Show, everybody's favorite landlord-tenant battle. In this evening's main event, we're going to find out who will benefit from the new amendments to the Residential Tenancy Act, the landlord or the tenant. The amendments were premiered by the provincial government January 15th. Hey, let's go ringside and chat with our contenders. First, our tenant, Jan McKenzie. Jan, rumor has it you're going to put off one heck of a fight tonight.
Absolutely, Chuck and Bob. I've read the new Residential Tenancy Act, and I figure I'm a pretty good tenant. I pay the rent on time. Fix the place up a bit. And I also figured that this rent increase that Arnie Skinner's giving me, it's illegal. I'm here to contest it.
Well, that's our tenant. Let's have a word with the landlord, Arnie Skinner! Hey, Arnie. Those are some pretty serious accusations Jan has made. Arnie, what have you got to say for yourself?
That's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. You know the rules and regulations is how I make my bread and butter. I'd be an idiot not to know the rules of this game.
Well, it sounds like we got one heck of a fight shaping up here. I've never heard two more confident fighters. By the way, the Rentalsman this evening is played by the lovely and charming Marlene Block. Hi, Marlene. Well, the contenders are in the ring, and... I hear that bell. Let's go!
All right, Arnie.
Mr. Skinner.
All right, Mr. Skinner. I know you're trying to raise the rent so that you can force me out, tear the building down, and build expensive condominiums.
I'm not trying to force you out, Jan. I'm just gonna raise your rent to $702 a month.
All right, Shut. If you'd read the new Landlord-Tenant Act, you know that rent increase was illegal.
We need a rule, in Janet's manor!
All right, then. I'll move into the place myself.
Looks like we got a dangerous roulette shaping up here.
That chance! You're not moving in yourself.
All right, then. I'll tear the place down. I'll evict you because I'm tearing the place down.
You're gonna tear it down. So where's your demolition permit?
Read the new Residential Tenancy Act. You know I don't need a demolition permit to evict you. Isn't that right, Marlene?
Section 17, subsection 1, where a landlord bona fide intends to occupy or use residential premises for the purpose of demolition, the approval of a municipality is required unless the rentalsman orders otherwise.
Well, that looks like the end of tonight's match. Congratulations to our champion, Arnie. Until next week, this is Chuck Jim Bob signing off live from Socred Gardens. Good night.
Wait a minute! What the hell's going on here? Is the rentalsman working for Arnie or what? I thought I had a chance with the law. But now I see the law's on Arnie's side. I'm not just fighting one landlord. I'm fighting the whole goddamn system. And that means war. Oh, I am so pissed off. And I'm so fed up. And I'm not gonna take it anymore.
What are you gonna do, Jan?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. What do you want to do?
I want to take Arnie's face and grind it right into the pavement. No.
No. All that would happen is you would get an assault charge and an eviction notice, and Arnie would get to do whatever he wanted with the apartment. Oh, come on. Don't give up. What else could you do?
Get political.
No cheating.
Get political? Yay! Right. Get political all by myself. I'll take on the whole system.
No, Jan. There's not that much you can do by yourself. You need other people, you know. Friends, help.
Right. Friends. Right. We'll form a gang. The vigilante tenants, very wily, we move like the wind. Back to politics. But I want to form a gang. Out of all the people who've been pushed around the same way as I have, right?
Right, I think maybe you finally got it.
Oh, yeah, but come on, get real. How do we do it?
Well, first of all, you've got to recognize one another. You've got to realize that poor people, and single parents, and the handicapped, and racial minorities, and everybody who's pushed around by the system has a right to band together and say, housing is a right!
Not a commodity?
Not a commodity!
There are people in this city who make you want to weep. Mothers in motels, rooms of disease.
Misinformation about supply and demand. Misinformation about profits to be had. One person wins, 10 people lose.
It feels like someone is breaking a law. If no law's being broken, then the law must be changed. If the lawmakers won't change it, then
Change the lawmakers.
blow the whistle on them.
Change the government.
2 single mothers in search of a decent place to live in Vancouver got organized. They camped on the steps of City Hall, and they brought with them the BC Federation of Labor, the YWCA, the Red Door Rental Aid, the press, and sympathizers from across the city. And the mayor had to listen to them.
A group of tenants in Victoria got organized. They convinced their city council to bring in a 1-year moratorium on the demolition of all existing rental buildings with 5 or more units. This effectively put a stop to the replacement of low-income accommodation with high-income condominiums in Victoria. A similar proposal was just defeated by Vancouver City Council. Time to change some aldermen.
May 31st is Housing Crisis Day all over British Columbia. The demonstration starts at City Hall and moves on from there. Be there. For more information, go to the Fight Back booth after the show.
Talk to your neighbors, question your friends, talk on the telephone, find out who's in charge. Answers come slowly and you gotta ask hard.
Use your voice, your feet, and your brains. Fight for the truth.
You gotta organize,
Cooperate.
beat down the lies.
Talk.
Dream, plan,
Scheme.
make tomorrow better, make tomorrow better, make tomorrow better, Vancouver. Thank you.